To review our third and final unit for the midterm, we talk about World War I, also known as the Great War. At its time, nothing like it had ever occurred, and it became nicknamed the War to End All Wars. It wasn't called World War I because they didn't know there would be a World War II. There were any number of reasons for World War I, and historians still debate as to its inevitability. It is easy for us to look backwards and say, oh, well, it happened, it must have happened that way, and there was no other possibility. But historians can point to 5 major reasons that this war did occur. Many people organize them in a variety of ways. For our purposes, we will look at the acronym MAIN, as in the main reasons that the World War began. First, militarism. The desire and belief that in order to be taken seriously and respected as a country, you have to have the best military possible. Standing armies were becoming the new normal, and the expectation was that you would have the most up-to-date military equipment and activities and practices. Alliances. These were agreements of support, sometimes public, sometimes private, between various countries that stated basically if one country got into a military situation with another country, that country would give its support to its ally. Imperialism. From our last video and our last unit, we know that countries needed land for resources and for markets, for religious reasons, for exploration reasons, for economic reasons, and for political power reasons. Well, by this point, in 1914, there wasn't much land left to colonize, and Austria-Hungary, Turkey, and Germany felt a little left out and were running out of room to expand. And this leads us into nationalism. This is actually a newer development in the 1900s, a desire to support your country, not just your region, linking back to the developments of transportation in the Industrial Revolution, the fact that people could now travel further than they ever could in their lifetime, simply relatively cheaply and much more frequently, a desire and a belief to be part of a nation, not simply from a region or even a town, became much stronger. Whenever we discuss in class ISIS or North Korea or attacks on the United States, we all recognize that we are currently in Washington, D.C., but also that an attack on the United States is an attack on us. And that means that we think of ourselves as part of something bigger. The actual spark of World War I is the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The story kind of lays out like this. The assassination of an Austrian prince caused the Empire of Austria-Hungary to declare war on Serbia. Serbia calls on its ally for assistance, Russia. Austria calls in Germany as its ally. Germany agrees and also moves to attack France through the neutral country of Belgium. France, under attack, calls in England and Russia to back it up. Germany reaches out to Turkey, known then as the Ottoman Empire, to get it on its side. And the whole thing, from the death of one guy, looks something like this. Austria-Hungary and Germany and the Ottoman Empire, the central powers, versus England and France and Russia, and eventually 2.5 years into the war, the United States of America. The war will go on and introduced brand new methods of fighting, which had never been seen before, will incorporate all of the aspects of the Industrial Revolution, which turned the military forces into stronger, more deadly forces, and will, in estimate, kill 10 million people over the course of the 4 years of fighting. And over 60 million people will at some point during the war take up arms, meaning be involved in the military in some way, shape, or form. Some firsts to remember: planes and fighter pilots. They had just been invented, and now they were used for both reconnaissance and for warfare. Machine guns and submarines, using technology to be able to kill more effectively and to travel to places that were previously not part of the battle. Chemical warfare and gas masks, the ability to use chemicals to disable or kill your opponent without having to actually physically be in their faces. At the end of the war, the Treaty of Versailles is signed. This is a peace treaty, a formal agreement ending all hostilities and assigning blame. The Treaty of Versailles blamed Germany. It assigned Germany all the blame for the war and fined them to the point where Germany, in no way, shape, or form, after having fought war for 4 years plus, could pay back this debt. It was a way to punish Germany and Germany's allies. It also took all the colonies from the Central Powers, even those that they had acquired before the war, and redistributed them to the countries of France and Great Britain, and even some to the United States. The Treaty of Versailles is seen as the precursor, the event that leads up to the anger that elects Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, and eventually leads into World War II. On the United States side, in this unit, we talked about the Lusitania, which was a British liner that was sunk by a German submarine, also known as a U-boat. On this liner, traveling from New York to Liverpool, a major port in England, were 600 Americans. Over 300 of them died in the sinking. The Zimmerman Telegraph was an intercepted communication from Germany to Mexico, encouraging Mexico to enter the war on Germany's side, hoping to divide the U.S. attention if the United States decided to get involved in the war, as well as if the U.S. saw this telegram and intercepted it, may simply see it as a reason not to be involved in this war. As you prepare for this section of the final exam, the facts are important, but the main ideas, right? Militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism, along with knowing the basic story and the terms Central Powers and Allied Powers, will be important to answering any questions about World War I. Identifying some of the firsts, connecting them back to the Industrial Revolution will also help you.